India's nuclear doctrine was built on restraint. Nuclear warheads were kept separate from missiles. Deterrence was maintained, but deployment was avoided. That doctrine may now be changing. In a major shift in India's nuclear policy, SIPRI says India has for the first time deployed 12 nuclear warheads on operational platforms. The report suggests that a small number of Indian nuclear weapons may now be mated with delivery systems and deployed on a ballistic missile submarine conducting deterrence patrols. If confirmed, this would mark the first time India's nuclear arsenal has been classified as operationally deployed rather than simply stockpiled. Why 12?
Brilliant question you have asked. I am the one who's been making similar noises for past several years. Why our doctrine is no first use. As a student of geopolitics and military science, I fail to understand. People may not be aware that out of 9 countries which hold or called as enjoying nuclear status, there are only 2 countries with no first use. The remaining countries, they have first use doctrine. One, because there is a distinction. He will elaborate. We are fortunate to have Air Commodore Bahal. He's being from Air Force. He will give us the finer aspects. What worries me is that when you talk about no first use, it is based on the paradigm of strategic deterrence, minimum credible deterrence. When you talk about strategic deterrence, there are layers of our preparedness. Now, one thing in your preamble you have missed out, maybe it is not given out in the text, that the trigger to deploy these nuclear bombs is because China is the only country which has come out in limelight, also been reported by SIPRI in recent past, that it has got near Lochner, it has got mated in canisters, it has got mated nuclear bombs. That is why Donald Trump on 6th of February 2026, when the new strat was for 5 years, it terminated in 5th of February 2026, 6th onward, it was supposed to have been renewed between Russia and America. He insisted that it is no longer between Russia and America. It also has to incorporate the relevant stakeholders. What he meant was China is one of the countries which has already kept the weapons mated. Generally, nuclear arsenals are not kept mated except for Russia and I would say America to some extent. UK has some, not UK, I think France has got some mated ones. UK also has got some. But China actually keeping them mated is a big threat to the imperial or the colonial mindset of the Americans as also UK. One. Number two, it is there next to Lochner where the test is being carried out. Number three, the once the order is given, it is not with the press of a button that the nuclear bomb goes off. It is by a collegiate system. There is somebody who actually recommends, initiates, someone who recommends. I'm trying to put across in a very simplistic language so that our viewers understand they correlate with their life, common life. Somebody is initiating, somebody is recommending, and someone is actually approving. Minimum 3 people. Unlike Pakistan, Pakistan is the end all and be all. Munir Saab Jindabad, he presses the button, everything goes off. So unlike that, almost all the countries, they have a nuclear command authority. Here is a case in point between the decision taken and the mating is done. Thereafter put on the delivery system. There is a time lag of 45 minutes to 3 hours and plus. Rest, I'll leave it to a Commodore. You will
Okay.
explain. He being from Air Force, he's got better knowledge.
Okay. So,
And
so,
he'll
so
say
there are 2 points. One, why don't we change it to the first use? Second is why only 12? I mean to say what sort of a deterrence you reach by 12?
That's a very nice question. And Jai Hind, and thanks to General Sudhakar. I really love to hear him also. We've been together on many channels. And I'm very distinguished co-panelist. So let me tell you this. First of all, let me take you back to Op Sindoor. And when we carried out strikes on Sargodha, and some even say that we had gone and hit the tunnel entrances of Kirana Hills. I'm not so sure we did it or we did not, but that we dropped bombs very close to Kirana Hills was an indication that we were close to where the nuclear warheads, nuclear weapon systems were stored or parked by the Pakistanis. Now, the second and important thing is, which comes out of that is that whilst we attacked them, it actually brought them to their knees. If you saw the way they quickly requested the Americans, ki band karo, band karo. And next issue was that they did not highlight the nuclear issue a lot during that period of time when we had gone and struck, which means a minimum credible deterrence had worked at that time. They realized that India also has a highly capable delivery system, highly capable nuclear weapons, and mostly focused on more towards strategic nuclear weapons. That means about 100 kilotons or more, rather than the ones which are between zero point 0.5 to 40 kilotons. Now, that is one aspect. Second is when you keep a very important thing which the general had brought out. If you keep the nuclear weapons separate, separate, and the missile launcher separate, that is the missile which is on the launcher. Now, when we are talking of a containerized missile, which is actually in India, now, this particular part where the missile is kept separate and the weapon is kept separate, it is known as recessed deterrence. What does recessed deterrence mean? Recessed deterrence means like we had by chance accidentally launched the Brahmas and it had gone and hit somewhere in deserts of Pakistan. If you remember that incident that had taken place, such accidental launches can never take place with a nuclear weapon inside it in any missile. So that is why this recessed deterrent was initially given importance. But what happens in second strike capability, like the general very nicely brought out, the if it's a first strike, you have the right, like Pakistanis have a first strike doctrine where they have the right to use the first use of nuclear weapon. We don't have that. We have no first use and no non-use against a non-nuclear state. So when we are looking at these two key factors, then the importance comes in is that we must have some operationally deployed. And those, if they are not operationally deployed, and where are we going to deploy them? So we are going to deploy them on the SSBNs.